Um, do you watch documentaries? I don't watch documentaries very often. Um, a lot of if you've got Netflix or Hulu and all these streaming services, fortunes, lots, literally hundreds of documentaries. Um, I don't know if you've checked them out and done a bit of exploring, but a lot of them are just either just not my cup of tea, and some of them are just terrible. So not all. And when something has the name documentary, don't make the mistake of thinking that gives it automatic credibility. There's lots of like documentaries that talk absolute rubbish. But before I really go into that, yesterday I mentioned my carpet. For if you're watching my YouTube channel, by the way, go subscribe to my YouTube channel if you can. So I mentioned the carpet, and then I realized afterwards that you can't really see the carpet. So let me just tilt the camera. Okay, there's the carpet I was talking about. So Bernice specially got the carpet. No, didn't buy it. We have three Wendy houses outside. One of them is like a storeroom. It's the graveyard of furniture. No, I stand corrected. This is the carpet that's in our second-hand shop, where we have all our miniatures and our tsatskas that we sell on bid or buy. By the way, go to our bid or buy store, FGC. So the carpet, this carpet was on the floor, and Bernice and we discussed it, and it's been wasted. It's been wasted. Put the carpet, and you can see a little bit of it there in the corner, if you're on the YouTube channel. Hoarding, yeah, terrible hoarders. I know. That's what I'm thinking. We spent. I don't want to tell you what it costs for these Wendy houses. Okay, the other two Wendy houses, they were worthwhile. We needed them. But the third Wendy house, to store all our stuff, it's just throw it. 90% of the stuff that's in that Wendy house needed to be thrown away. Leave it on the pavement. My mother, the Naomi Kalvari style, you leave things on the pavement. I think I may have mentioned this before. Back in 2009, when my mother was selling her house and she was moving out, how did my mother discard things? How did she did she hire a moving company? Did she call somebody that helps you clear out your clutter? No. My mother, Naomi, left the stuff on the pavement. She did the magic pavement trick. It's called the pavement trick. She was so proud of herself. You leave things on the pavement and it just goes away. She was so impressed with herself. But one day, I come home. I come to my mother's house and I look at the pavement. There's this antique Phoenician table, little small table that had fallen apart, that she left on the pavement. I freaked out. I grabbed hold of it. I took it to a furniture restoring guy, and he put it back together. Beautiful Phoenician table. And what's weird about it is it's a wood carving. And on the top of the carving is the carving of a peacock. A peacock. I grew up with this peacock my whole life, looking at this peacock. And then what happens? I get married, we buy a house. I have peacocks next door. So there you go. Isn't that incredible? So back to the documentaries. Lots of we were talking about Devilsdorp the other day. And have you had a chance to watch Devilsdorp? If you've got DSTV, you get Showmax. I know some people who got Showmax just for Devilsdorp. All about these lunatics who went on a murder spree. But I've spoken about that already, but check it out. But just very briefly, just going back to Devilsdorp, because I touched on religion yesterday. And Devilsdorp actually got me thinking about religion as well. Ever since I watched Devilsdorp, and maybe I've alluded to this before, but Devilsdorp, to me, the main thing I got out of Devilsdorp is there's such a thin line between being religious, observant, normal, still being in touch with reality, still being a productive member of society, still being positive, still being like a good person, but you can slip into this extremism, mindlessness, and almost like a brainwashing, hypnotic state, not in touch with reality, cult-like kind of thought processes. Yes, maybe that thin line isn't as thin. Maybe it's let me restructure the line. I'm bringing the line a bit thicker, because I realize as I'm talking that there are some people that would be considered normal religious, but slipping towards a little bit of irrationality, and there are slight cult-like kind of leanings. Like I know somebody who's changed his name. He's got a different name now within his little community of religious people. He changed his name, and if you look at the definition of cults, that's one of the things that people change their names. But he's still a productive member of society. He's still a positive person. He's not doing anything nefarious. And then it's just something, an interesting perspective that it's so scary. I don't know how weak we are as human beings. There's just this thin line, which I just made it a bit broader. Fair enough. But it's just so delicate. So I take the easy way out. I don't do either. Just nothing. Just, yes, I'm Jewish, and it's a nice culture, yeah. Good food. Odd Yiddish word here and there. I know maybe it's a bit of a, kind of like living a bit of an hypocrisy. It's kind of weird. I grew up in a household. If you look at the kosher laws, kashrut laws, you have separate utensils for meat and milk. You know what? Growing up in my household, we had separate utensils for meat and milk. But they were in the same drawer and they got washed together in the same sink, so what was the point? The whole idea is you need to have separate sinks, meat and milk, separate sinks as well. So we had meat and milk utensils and plates, but they were all washed together anyway, so it was so silly, but there you go. It's kind of weird. Get some people in Judaism, they strictly kosher at home. Kosher kitchen, everything kosher. But they might eat out, and they won't be kosher. They'll eat at a non-kosher restaurant, or they'll eat at friends, or they eat anything. They'll grab that pig with the apple in its mouth, and they'll chop it up. They'll eat it. And the argument, if you speak to one of these people, I mean, look, I'm not judging. Do your own thing. Yeah, do your own thing. The argument is, I'm keeping a kosher home. Yes, I'm not so kosher. I'm keeping a kosher home so I can have friends and family that are kosher. They can eat at my house. That's the rationale. And you know what? Not such a bad explanation. Can't argue against it. But going back to being judgmental, I think it's only problematic. Each to their own, do your own thing. But where it becomes problematic is if you tell other people what to do and you pretend, and just be honest. Don't tell people how to live. Don't pretend you this and that. Just do your own thing. It's personal. Do your own thing. That's the way I see it. I don't know what you think. It's kind of weird. Religion. For example, Christianity. You can only call yourself a Christian if you go to church and do Christian things. But you can call yourself a Jew and not do anything. Not do anything. Like, don't go to synagogue, don't do anything. But you're still Jewish. Yeah. I don't know. I don't make the rules. There you go. What kind of a weekend have we got ahead of us? Like I always say, this is not a sports show. But I'm quite excited. Springboks playing the Australians on Sunday, and it's going to be very interesting. This is not a sports show. I'm not a sports reporter. I'm not a sports analyst. I'm not a rugby expert. Oh, by the way, if you are into that kind of thing, John Robbie. I saw him on the Twitter yesterday. He's got some Twitter thing going on with the rugby. Don't exactly know 100% what he's doing, but go check it out. I like John Robbie's rugby. He talks rugby. I like that. If he talks other stuff, not so keen. So why it's going to be exciting is that the Springboks play this, as I said the other day, this 1980s, 1985, 86 Noord-Transvaal, Naaspoorte, and fly off, kicking. Naaspoorte kicks the ball, keep it in the floor. You remember Naaspoorte. If you're not old enough, just go to YouTube. On the other hand, Darren. And now the Australians, if you watch the Australian All Blacks game, they had 2 matches in a row. Wow. The way they throw the ball around and the backline moves, fantastic. If the Springboks want to beat Australia on Sunday, they're gonna have to play their own game, the Springboks, because if they can't let Australia get the ball, they can't let the backline get the ball. They got to just as boring as it's not so entertaining, but I think the Springboks have to stick to that World Cup 2019 Noord-Transvaal kind of thing. But there will still be entertainment because no doubt Australia will get the ball and will throw it around. Anyway, this is not a sports show. Let's not carry on about the. Speaking about sport, Lloyd Harris. I haven't got to watch any of the US Open. I don't think any of it. I saw Lloyd Harris, South African Lloyd Harris, made the quarterfinals. Disappointing, he lost to Zverev in straight sets, so he's out of the US Open. But brilliant that he made the quarterfinals. It's fantastic. So Lloyd Harris, in my mind, is at least number 8 in the world. We have the 8th best tennis player in the world. Maybe the official rankings, the ATP rankings won't say that, but that's the way I say it. That's the way I see it. One of the fresh stories that I saw last night that I noticed, can't miss it. Carl Niehaus, bless him. Carl Niehaus, he's a gift that keeps on giving. The ANC decided to fire Carl Niehaus because he was an employee of the ANC. He worked in the office of the Secretary General. Now I've got to try and remember his name. Ace Magashule. So when Ace Magashule was suspended, Carl Niehaus was protesting, wasn't happy because he's trying to look after his job. Hey, don't get rid of my boss, then I'm going to be out of a job. Carl Niehaus has received 2 warnings. He was warned about speaking out against the ANC, about criticizing the ANC, about Ace Magashule. There was I can't remember the other reason he was given a warning. Final warning, you're fired. Carl Niehaus has been fired. What did he do this time? He threatened to take the ANC to press charges, criminal charges against the ANC because the ANC had failed to pay staff. So he was taking them, he was going to charge them with, I don't know, whatever the charge is, failure to pay your staff. So the ANC says, hey, you bring in the ANC into disrepute. Now, to bring the ANC into disrepute, that's really quite something. I think only Carl Niehaus could do that. Hey? Who else could bring the ANC into disrepute? It's quite a feat. Carl Niehaus, he's got to come to Lutuli House and fetch his things, clear his desk. Have they cleared his desk for him? Put it into a nice box? Would he just enter the foyer of Lutuli House and just fetch his box? I know he's got a little succulent, a little mini, like a miniature Cysus jutia, or maybe it's a lithop. Doesn't matter. He knew not to water it because it's a succulent. So got to give Carl Niehaus a bit of credit there. So he's got until 11 o'clock. He can also appeal being fired, can he? Yes. Thing is, there was no discipline. They didn't give him a disciplinary hearing. They just fired him. But he had warnings. My labor law is not the best. My labor law is not brilliant. I don't know. I don't hate Carl Niehaus. I don't dislike him. I don't think he's a bad. Well, he's not that honest. He pretended that his mother had died. I forgot about that. Okay, I don't trust him. But I bear no strong animosity towards him. And I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird. But I kind of feel sorry for him. I'm thinking to myself, what is he going to do now? ANC has been his whole life. What is he going to do now? Will Jacob Zuma help him? No, he's got medical aid. He's got a wife. I think he's got 1 or 2 children. Maybe Jacob Zuma will help him. Now, mind you, but Jacob Zuma is gravely ill. He's terminally ill, according to the medical parole. People were speaking of the medical parole of Jacob Zuma. People were laughing or criticizing President Ramaphosa because President Ramaphosa said, "I wish him a recovery, a speedy recovery," and people laughed. No, he's terminally ill. How can it be a speedy recovery? But I suspect that President Ramaphosa was misquoted. And the one headline said, Ramaphosa is happy or pleased that Jacob Zuma got medical parole. And also, that's also a bit misleading. I don't think President Ramaphosa really said exactly those words. Imagine being the president of South Africa. Imagine being President Cyril Ramaphosa. And you have to deal with all these weird things. I mean, how do you keep it together? Your main political party can't pay its staff. You didn't manage to register your candidates for the upcoming municipal elections. Corruption all over the place. You can't control your grassroots levels membership because they are strong Jacob Zuma supporters, and I don't know how many of them, what percentage of them they are. A lot of it is also just a criminal element, so who knows? But you got this whole Jacob Zuma element. So much so that you allowed Jacob Zuma to get medical parole. But then you thought to yourself, how are you going to deal with that? When people say, how can he get medical? What do you think of Jacob Zuma getting medical parole? So President Ramaphosa said something along the lines of, I wish him well. Something along those lines. He didn't say, I think it's brilliant. I think justice has been served. The man didn't deserve to be in jail. President Ramaphosa never said that. But you know what? Jacob Zuma was going to be paroled anyway on the 15th of October. The bigger picture, and I think we all know this, I've discussed this before. What does this bode for his corruption trial? What is this, the arms deal? The arms deal goes back to 2009. That's when Patricia de Lille asked all the questions. That's when everyone thought Patricia de Lille was wonderful. That's when everyone thought, ooh, Patricia de Lille can be our next president. Well, I don't know what's happened to Patricia de Lille. Is she the one of the good party? I can't keep up. Yeah, I think the good party. I mean, you've been in politics for your whole life, 30, 40 years. You were part of the ANC. She was part of the PAC. Then she did the ID. Even ID is independent. What ID? Who remembers? You come up with the good party? Wow. I would have called myself the New Democrats or something like that. Anyway, Patricia de Lille, we don't know. Let's not even go further. Basically, it goes back to 2009. Let me refocus now. And then there's the whole Gupta thing. And it just seems that you and I, South Africans, my fellow South Africans, we're never going to know. We're never going to get to the truth. We're never going to get to any court. Jacob Zuma is not going to go to court again. I don't think he's going to see the inside of a court, unless it's for a divorce proceeding, which is possible. I mean, if you're married to 5 different women, you've got 5 times more chance of getting a divorce. Have you thought of that? You've got 5 wives. That means you've got 5 times more chance of divorce than a man or a woman who's got 1 spouse. Never thought of it that way. That's one way of looking at it. The news cycle just turns and turns and turns. You know, if I'm wrapped up in some scandal, I don't know what kind of a scandal. Nobody would care, actually, eh? If I did something untoward, nobody would really care because I'm not a famous person, I suppose. But just hypothetically, say I was in the news for doing something lewd. I did something the other day. Our gate was broken and I just came out the shower and my wife needed help with the gate. Because, God forbid, she gets out of her car, opens the gate, reverses the car, gets out of her car, closes the gate, God forbid. So I went naked, with a towel wrapped around me, and I opened the gate for her. Imagine if the towel slipped. In fact, my wife was saying to me, take the towel off, let the neighbors have a laugh. She actually said that, which isn't right. Now we got the bell ringing. I'll let it ring. Answer that, please! Sorry, very unprofessional. So imagine, so it makes the news because people care. Some famous person that's in the news. Don't panic. Don't worry. So you look bad today, but tomorrow everyone's forgotten. Look at this J.P. Smith, this Nobel laureate from this guy. He's in the mayoral committee of safety and security for Cape Town, for the city of Cape Town. I mean, he refused to. He made a big joke. You know the story. Nzele. He had a big problem with Nzele, the surname, and he made a joke of it. We've all forgotten about it now. I mean, I was thinking, how does J.P. Smith? He's going to have to change his name to P.J. something else, Johnson. And I thought to myself, how does he sleep? But it's all forgotten by now. Now we've moved on to Carl Niehaus. We've moved on to Carl Niehaus, and the Springboks are playing Australia, and it just carries on. Oh, my daughter just called me. Yeah, anyway. It seems like we've got a bit of drama at the front door. So, I think I had some more things to say, but we'll leave it for next week.